Marcus was a struggling single dad who could barely afford his daughter's shoes. When a gunman aimed at a billionaire's dying daughter, Marcus didn't think twice. He took the bullet meant for her. The next morning, everything changed. His sacrifice opened doors he never imagined possible. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The rain hammered against the cracked windshield as Marcus wiped his calloused hands on his worn jeans. His pickup truck sputtered to life, coughing like an old man with pneumonia. Another day, another dollar, or in his case, another $75 for 12 hours of backbreaking construction work. "Dad, can I have new shoes?" his 7-year-old daughter Lily had asked that morning, her toes peeking through holes in her sneakers. Marcus had smiled, hiding the pain in his chest. "Soon, princess. Real soon." But "soon" was a word that haunted him every single day since his wife Sarah died 3 years ago. Cancer didn't care that they had no insurance. Cancer didn't care that Marcus worked 3 jobs. Cancer took her anyway, leaving him alone with a 7-year-old daughter and a mountain of medical debt that would crush most men. Marcus pulled into the hospital parking lot. This wasn't his usual stop. But Mrs. Chen from the apartment next door had called him in panic. Her car wouldn't start, and she needed her heart medication refilled urgently. Marcus couldn't say no. He never could when someone needed help. The hospital lobby gleamed with expensive marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Marcus felt out of place in his dirty work boots and paint-stained shirt. Rich people walked past him without a glance, their designer clothes and perfect hair reminding him of everything he couldn't give his daughter. He grabbed Mrs. Chen's prescription from the pharmacy and turned to leave. That's when he saw her. A young girl, maybe 16 or 17, sat in a wheelchair near the cardiac wing. She was pale, with dark circles under her eyes, but she had a kind face. She was looking at her phone, tears streaming down her cheeks. Marcus should have walked away. He should have minded his own business. But something about her reminded him of what Lily might look like in 10 years. "You okay, miss?" he asked gently. The girl looked up, startled. "I'm fine," she whispered, quickly wiping her tears. Marcus nodded and started to walk away. Then he heard the shouting. "Where is she? Where's my daughter?" A man's voice boomed through the corridor. Marcus turned to see a tall man in an expensive suit pushing through the crowd. Security guards flanked him on both sides. "Mr. Blackwood, please calm down," a doctor was saying. "Don't tell me to calm down. My daughter needs a heart transplant, and you're telling me to calm down." The girl in the wheelchair stiffened. "Dad, please," she called out weakly. So this was Mr. Richard Blackwood. Marcus had heard of him. Everyone had. The real estate mogul who owned half the city. The billionaire who had torn down Marcus's old neighborhood to build luxury condos. The man responsible for displacing hundreds of families, including Marcus's best friend Tommy and his 3 kids. Marcus felt anger rise in his throat. This was the man who destroyed lives without blinking. The man who cared more about money than people. But then Marcus looked at the girl again. She wasn't responsible for her father's sins. She was just a sick kid who needed help. Suddenly, chaos erupted. A man burst through the hospital entrance, wild-eyed and desperate. He wore a janitor's uniform, but something was wrong. His hands were shaking, and he kept looking around frantically. "Everyone stay back," the man shouted, pulling out a gun. People screamed and scattered. The security guards reached for their weapons, but the gunman was faster. He pointed the gun directly at the girl in the wheelchair. "You," he screamed at Mr. Blackwood. "You destroyed my life. You took everything from me. My home, my job, my family left me because of you." Marcus recognized him. Danny Rodriguez. They had worked together on a construction site 2 years ago. Danny had been a good man, a hard worker. Then Blackwood's company bought the building they were renovating and fired everyone to hire cheaper workers. Please, Mr. Blackwood raised his hands. Let's talk about this. I'll give you money. Anything you want. I don't want your money. Danny's voice cracked. I want you to feel what I felt. I want you to lose everything. The gun moved from Mr. Blackwood to his daughter. Time slowed down. Marcus saw Danny's finger tighten on the trigger. He saw the girl's eyes widen in terror. He saw Mr. Blackwood's face twist in horror. And Marcus thought of Lily. He thought of how she'd cried when her mother died. He thought of how she'd asked him, "Daddy, when you die, who will take care of me?" He had promised her he would always be there. But he had also promised Sarah on her deathbed that he would never let another child suffer if he could prevent it. Marcus didn't think. He just moved. He threw himself in front of the wheelchair just as the gun fired. The bullet hit him in the chest, right below his shoulder. Pain exploded through his body like lightning. He fell to the ground, gasping. More gunshots. Security guards returning fire. Screaming. Chaos. Then darkness. Marcus woke up to the steady beep of a heart monitor. His chest felt like someone had placed a burning coal on it. He tried to move, but pain shot through his entire body. "Don't move, sir." A nurse's kind face appeared above him. "You're in the ICU. You were shot." It all came rushing back. The gun. The girl. The bullet. "Is she okay?" Marcus croaked. "The girl in the wheelchair?" "She's fine, thanks to you. You saved her life." Marcus closed his eyes in relief. At least something good came from this nightmare. "Dad!" His eyes snapped open. Lily burst into the room, tears streaming down her face. Mrs. Chen was right behind her, holding her hand. "Baby girl," Marcus whispered, trying to smile. "I'm okay. You promised." Lily sobbed, burying her face in his hospital gown. "You promised you wouldn't leave me." Marcus's heart shattered. He stroked her hair with his good hand. "I'm not going anywhere, princess. I promise." But even as he said it, he knew the truth. The hospital bill would destroy them. He had no health insurance. He would lose everything, his apartment, his truck, maybe even custody of Lily. A doctor entered the room. "Mr. Hayes, I need to speak with you about your treatment plan and the associated costs." Marcus nodded, preparing for the worst. But before the doctor could continue, the door opened again. Mr. Richard Blackwood walked in. The man looked different from the arrogant billionaire Marcus had seen in the lobby. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his hair messy, his eyes red from crying. "Get out," Marcus said coldly. "Please," Mr. Blackwood's voice cracked. "Please, just give me 5 minutes. You don't belong here. Go back to your mansion and your money. You saved my daughter's life." Mr. Blackwood's voice shook. "Emma is my only child. Her mother died when she was born. She's been sick her whole life. She's everything to me." "That's nice," Marcus said bitterly. "But your money doesn't fix the lives you've destroyed. It doesn't bring back the families you displaced. It doesn't help people like Danny Rodriguez, who you drove to desperation." Mr. Blackwood flinched like he'd been slapped. "You're right. I've been a terrible person. I've hurt people. I've cared more about profit than human lives." "Then why are you here?" "Because you showed me what real courage looks like. What real love looks like." Mr. Blackwood looked at Lily, then back at Marcus. "You have nothing, yet you risked your life for a stranger. I have everything, yet I've given nothing." Marcus said nothing. "I want to help you," Mr. Blackwood continued. "I want to pay all your medical bills. I want to." "I don't want your guilt money," Marcus interrupted. It's not guilt money. It's a debt. You saved my daughter's life. Let me do something for yours. Marcus looked at Lily, who was watching him with her big brown eyes. The same eyes her mother had. I don't want charity, Marcus said firmly. If you want to help, help the people you've actually hurt. Help Danny Rodriguez's family. Help all the families you displaced. That's how you repay me. Mr. Blackwood stared at him in shock. You're refusing my help. I'm telling you where help is actually needed. For a long moment, Mr. Blackwood said nothing. Then he nodded slowly. You're a better man than I'll ever be. He turned to leave, then stopped at the door. The hospital bills are already paid. I did it before I came here. And there's a trust fund for your daughter's education. You can't refuse that, it's already done. Before Marcus could protest, he was gone. Marcus stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks. Every day, Lily came to visit with Mrs. Chen. Every day, she brought him drawings and told him about school. But something strange was happening outside the hospital walls. The news had picked up the story. Construction worker saves billionaire's daughter, was headline after headline. Marcus's face was everywhere. People he'd never met called him a hero. He didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a man who did what anyone should do. On his last day in the hospital, Emma Blackwood came to visit him. She rolled her wheelchair into his room, her father behind her. Mr. Hayes, she said softly. I wanted to thank you personally. You don't need to thank me, Marcus replied. Yes, I do. You didn't know me. You didn't owe me anything. But you saved my life anyway. Tears filled her eyes. My dad told me what you said. About helping the people he hurt instead of helping you. It was the right thing to say. It was the brave thing to say. Emma smiled. You changed my dad. You changed both of us. Mr. Blackwood stepped forward. I've started a foundation. For families displaced by corporate development. I've reached out to every person I can find who was hurt by my business practices. I'm trying to make it right. That's good, Marcus said quietly. I also found Danny Rodriguez's family. His wife and kids. I've given them a home and set up trust funds for the children's education. And I'm paying for Danny's legal defense and therapy. Marcus felt something loosen in his chest. Thank you. No, thank you. You showed me that money means nothing if you have no humanity. Mr. Blackwood paused. I also have a proposal. My company needs a new director of community relations. Someone who understands what real people need. Someone with integrity and courage. The salary is $200,000 a year, full benefits, and you'd be making decisions about how we give back to the community. Marcus stared at him. What? I'm offering you a job. A real job. Where you can make a real difference. I'm a construction worker. I don't know anything about corporate relations. You know about people. You know about right and wrong. That's more than most executives ever learn. Mr. Blackwood looked at Lily. And you'd never have to worry about your daughter's future again. Marcus looked at his little girl. She was smiling, hope shining in her eyes for the first time in years. I need to think about it, Marcus said. Take all the time you need. That night, Marcus lay awake in his hospital bed. He thought about Sarah. He thought about what she would want for him and Lily. Sarah had always believed in helping people. She had been a teacher in an underprivileged neighborhood, working for almost nothing because she loved the kids. She had died trying to help others, still planning lessons from her hospital bed. Help people, Marcus, she had whispered in her final hours. That's what life is for. Maybe this was his chance. Maybe this was how he could honor her memory. The next morning, Marcus called Mr. Blackwood. I'll take the job, he said. But I have conditions. Name them. I want to create a medical fund for families who can't afford treatment. I want to build affordable housing in the neighborhoods your company destroyed. And I want to hire people like me, people who need a second chance. Done. All of it. 6 months later, Marcus stood in his new office on the 20th floor of Blackwood Tower. The view overlooked the entire city. He could see the neighborhood where he used to live, where new affordable housing was being built. Lily burst through his office door, wearing a new school uniform and brand new shoes. Dad! Dad! Guess what? I got an A on my math test. Marcus scooped her up and spun her around, ignoring the twinge of pain from his healing shoulder. That's my girl. I'm so proud of you. Mr. Hayes. His assistant poked her head in. The Rodriguez family is here for their meeting. Marcus put Lily down and straightened his tie. Danny Rodriguez walked in with his wife and 3 kids. Danny looked different, cleaner, healthier, hopeful. Marcus, Danny shook his hand firmly. I heard you're the one who convinced Mr. Blackwood to help us. I just reminded him that we're all human, Marcus replied. Because of you, my kids have a home. They're in good schools. My wife and I are back together. Danny's eyes filled with tears. You saved my family. You would have done the same for me. After the meeting, Marcus stood at his window again. Emma Blackwood rolled up beside him. She was looking better now, still pale, still waiting for a heart transplant, but stronger. Penny, for your thoughts, she asked. I'm thinking about how one moment can change everything, Marcus said. One bullet. One decision. You didn't just take a bullet for me, Emma said softly. You took a bullet for my dad too. You saved both of us. Your dad saved himself. He made the choice to change. Because you showed him how. Marcus looked down at the streets below. Somewhere down there, a single parent was struggling to pay rent. A kid was going to school with holes in their shoes. Someone was choosing between medicine and food. But now Marcus had the power to help them. Not because he was rich or special, but because he had been where they were. He understood their pain. Mr. Hayes. His assistant called again. There's someone here to see you. She says it's important. An elderly woman walked into his office. She looked familiar, but Marcus couldn't place her. Mr. Hayes, you don't know me, but I know you. My name is Dorothy Martinez. 3 years ago, you helped my grandson pay for his cancer treatment. You gave him the money you had been saving for your wife's medical bills. Marcus remembered. A young boy in the hospital. His grandmother crying because they couldn't afford the treatment. Your wife told me what you did, Dorothy continued. She told me to tell you something if anything ever happened to her. Marcus's heart stopped. She said, tell my Marcus that love isn't about keeping things for yourself. Love is about giving everything away. She said you were the best man she ever knew, and your daughter would grow up to be proud of you. Marcus couldn't speak. Tears streamed down his face. My grandson is alive because of you, Mr. Hayes. He's 15 now. Healthy and strong. And when I saw your story on the news, when I heard how you saved that girl, I knew I had to find you. I had to tell you that your wife was right. You are the best kind of man. After Dorothy left, Marcus sat at his desk and cried. He cried for Sarah. He cried for all the years of struggle. He cried for the pain and the fear and the endless nights wondering how he would survive. But he also cried tears of joy. Because he had survived. He had kept his promise to Sarah. He had raised their daughter with love and taught her about kindness and courage. That evening, Marcus picked up Lily from her new school. She ran to him with a huge smile, her backpack bouncing. Dad! Can we get ice cream? Sure, princess. Anything you want. As they walked hand in hand down the street, Lily looked up at him. Dad, do you think Mom would be proud of you? Marcus squeezed her hand. I hope so, baby girl. I really hope so. I know she is. Because I'm proud of you. You're the best dad in the whole world. Marcus stopped walking. He knelt down in front of his daughter, looking into her eyes, those beautiful eyes that looked so much like Sarah's. Lily, I need you to understand something. Everything I did, taking that bullet, working those jobs, everything, I did it because of you. Because you're my reason for living. Because you're the best thing your mom and I ever made. Lily threw her arms around his neck. I love you, Daddy. I love you too, Princess. Forever and always. 1 year after the shooting, Marcus stood on a stage in front of 500 people. The event was the grand opening of the Sarah Hayes Community Center, a place where struggling families could get free medical care, job training, and support. Mr. Blackwood stood beside him, no longer the arrogant billionaire but a changed man dedicated to helping others. A year ago, I was a different person, Mr. Blackwood said into the microphone. I cared about money and power. I didn't see the people I hurt. But one man, one brave, selfless man, showed me what really matters. He gestured to Marcus. Marcus Hayes didn't just save my daughter's life. He saved my soul. He reminded me that we're all connected. That every action has consequences. That real wealth isn't measured in dollars but in the lives we touch and the love we give. The crowd applauded. Marcus took the microphone, his hands shaking slightly. I'm not a hero, he began. I'm just a dad who wanted to protect a kid. Any parent here would have done the same thing. He looked out at the crowd and saw Danny Rodriguez with his family. He saw Dorothy Martinez with her grandson. He saw Mrs. Chen from his old apartment building. He saw Emma Blackwood, who was still waiting for a heart transplant but fighting every day. But I learned something important this year. We all have the power to change lives. We don't need to be rich or famous. We just need to care. We just need to act when we see someone in pain. We just need to be brave enough to love each other. Marcus looked down at Lily, who stood in the front row beaming up at him. My wife Sarah taught me that. She spent her whole life giving to others. She died too young, but her spirit lives on in this building and in every person we help here. His voice broke. Sarah, if you're listening, I hope I made you proud. I hope I'm teaching our daughter what you taught me, that love is action, not just words. That courage is doing the right thing even when it's hard. That one person really can change the world. The audience rose to their feet, applauding. But Marcus only cared about one person's reaction. He looked at Lily, who had tears streaming down her face and pride shining in her eyes. After the ceremony, as the sun set over the city, Marcus and Lily sat on a bench outside the community center. The building glowed with warm light, and inside, families were receiving help, finding hope, discovering that someone cared. Dad? Lily said quietly. Yes, Princess. When I grow up, I want to be just like you and Mom. I want to help people. Marcus pulled her close, his heart so full it hurt. You already do, baby girl. Every single day, you make the world better just by being in it. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. Marcus thought about that day 1 year ago. The day he took a bullet. The day everything changed. He had thought he was saving one girl's life. But really, he had saved so many more. He had saved Mr. Blackwood from his own greed. He had saved Danny Rodriguez's family from despair. He had saved himself from bitterness and hopelessness. And most importantly, he had shown his daughter what real love looks like. A single bullet had changed everything. But it wasn't the bullet that mattered. It was the choice Marcus made in that moment, the choice to act, to care, to sacrifice for a stranger. That choice had created ripples that spread outward, touching hundreds of lives, creating hope where there had been despair. Dad? Lily asked, breaking the silence. Yes. Do you ever wish you hadn't taken that bullet? That you hadn't gotten hurt? Marcus was quiet for a moment. He thought about the pain, the fear, the months of recovery. But then he thought about everything that came after, the lives changed, the families helped, the love that multiplied and spread. No, princess. I don't wish that. Because that bullet led us here. It led us to this moment, sitting together, watching the sunset, knowing that we're making a difference. Even though it hurt. Sometimes the things that hurt us the most are the things that change us for the better. The pain made me stronger. It opened doors I never knew existed. It gave me the chance to really help people. Lily nodded, trying to understand. But you know what the best part is? Marcus continued. What? I get to do all of this with you by my side. I get to teach you about kindness and courage. I get to watch you grow into an amazing person. And someday, when you're older, you'll take what I taught you and make the world even better. Lily smiled. Promise? I promise, princess. You're going to do incredible things. As the last rays of sunlight disappeared behind the buildings, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in years, peace. Complete, perfect peace. He had honored Sarah's memory. He had protected their daughter. He had found a way to turn his pain into purpose. The bullet had changed his life forever. But not in the way anyone expected. It hadn't destroyed him. It had rebuilt him into something stronger, something better, something more. A single dad who took a bullet to save a life had discovered that sometimes the worst moments lead to the best transformations. That sometimes you have to fall down before you can truly rise. That sometimes love requires sacrifice, but that sacrifice can create miracles. Marcus Hayes had learned that he wasn't just a struggling single father barely surviving. He was a hero, a leader, a force for good in the world. And more than anything, he was exactly the father his daughter needed him to be, brave, loving, and determined to make the world better for her generation. As they walked home together, hand in hand, Marcus looked up at the stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky. "Good night, Sarah," he whispered. "I'm keeping my promise. I'm taking care of our girl. And I'm helping as many people as I can." The wind seemed to whisper back, carrying the scent of roses, Sarah's favorite flowers. And Marcus smiled, knowing that somewhere, somehow, she was watching over them. Proud of the man he had become. Proud of the daughter they had raised together. The bullet that should have destroyed his life had instead given him a reason to truly live. And every day forward, Marcus would honor that gift by spreading love, courage, and hope to everyone who needed it. Because that's what heroes do. Not because they're special or powerful or rich. But because they care. And caring, Marcus had learned, was the most powerful force in the universe. 5 years later, Emma Blackwood received her heart transplant. She survived the surgery and went on to join Marcus at the Sarah Hayes Community Center, where she now runs programs for sick children. Danny Rodriguez completed his therapy and now works as a counselor, helping other men who struggle with anger and desperation. Mr. Richard Blackwood transformed his entire company, becoming one of the nation's leading philanthropists. He credits Marcus Hayes with saving not just his daughter, but his humanity. And Lily? She's 12 now, already volunteering at the community center every weekend, helping younger kids with their homework and showing them the same kindness her father showed her. Marcus still has the scar from the bullet. But he doesn't hide it. It reminds him that scars are proof that you survived, that you fought, that you chose love over fear. On the 5th anniversary of the shooting, the city held a special ceremony. The mayor presented Marcus with the Medal of Courage. But Marcus didn't want the spotlight. He stood at the podium and asked everyone to honor the real heroes, the single parents working 3 jobs, the teachers spending their own money on supplies, the neighbors helping neighbors, the ordinary people doing extraordinary things every single day. "I'm not special," Marcus said, his voice steady and strong. I just did what anyone with a heart would do. The real heroes are the ones who show up every day, who keep fighting when life knocks them down, who choose kindness even when the world is cruel. After the ceremony, Marcus drove to the cemetery. He knelt at Sarah's grave, placing fresh roses on the headstone. "We did it, baby," he whispered, touching the cold marble. "Our little girl is growing up strong and kind, just like you. She's got your smile, your heart, your spirit. Every day, she makes me proud." The wind rustled through the trees, and for a moment, Marcus swore he could feel Sarah's hand on his shoulder. "I miss you every single day," he continued, his voice breaking. "But I'm not sad anymore. Because I see you in everything good that happens. In every family we help. In every smile Lily gives. In every person who chooses love over hate. You're still here, Sarah. You're still changing the world through all of us." That evening, back at home, Lily was doing her homework at the kitchen table. Marcus watched her, his heart overflowing with love and gratitude. "Dad?" Lily looked up suddenly. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything, princess." "Do you ever regret it? Taking that bullet?" Marcus sat down beside her, taking her small hand in his calloused one. "Not for a single second." "You want to know why?" Lily nodded. "Because that moment taught me the most important lesson of my life. It taught me that we're all connected. That one act of courage can create waves of change. That bullets can't kill love, they can only make it stronger." "But you could have died," Lily whispered, tears forming in her eyes. "Yes, I could have. But if I had walked away, if I had chosen my own safety over someone else's life, I would have died inside anyway. The worst kind of death isn't physical, baby girl. It's when you stop caring about others. When you stop being willing to sacrifice for what's right." Lily threw her arms around him. "I love you so much, Daddy. You're the bravest person I know." Marcus held her tight, breathing in the scent of her shampoo, feeling the steady beat of her heart against his chest. This was why he took that bullet. This was why every struggle, every sacrifice, every painful moment was worth it. Because love doesn't count the cost. Love doesn't calculate the risks. Love just acts, pure and simple and true. And every night before bed, he kisses his daughter goodnight and whispers the same words Sarah used to say. "Be brave, be kind, and never stop loving. Because in the end, that's all that really matters. Not money or fame or power. Just love, courage, and the choice to make someone else's life better." One bullet changed everything. But it was love that healed the wounds and built something beautiful from the pain. And that's the greatest miracle of all. Marcus Hayes had learned that heroes aren't born in moments of glory. They're born in moments of choice. When you see someone in danger and decide to act. When you have nothing but give everything. When you choose love over fear, sacrifice over safety, hope over despair. And as he tucked Lily into bed that night, watching her peaceful face in the soft glow of her nightlight, Marcus knew with absolute certainty that he would make the same choice again. 1,000 times over. Because some things are worth dying for. And love, true, selfless, courageous love, is the most precious thing of all.